Well, would you have a look at this? It's the all-new 2019 Toyota Corolla, and it looks absolutely awesome. I would go so far as to say it's probably the best looking Toyota ever made. Now, I'm very excited to drive it. We're here in San Diego. It is a beautiful day. However, before I jump in, I do want to walk you around this car and show you the interior because it's definitely worth having a look. So this is obviously the top spec Corolla. Now there will be 3 variants of this car when it comes to Australia. This color is called Blue Flame, believe it or not. Now the most important thing here for me is if you have a look at these headlights, I mean the sharpness here and this big grille, that's not something I would have ever expected from Toyota. It looks fantastic, but my favorite part is actually the rear. I mean, look at it. It looks awesome. These taillights, the way they blend in, it actually looks like the same person designed the front and the rear for once for a Toyota. But perhaps the best thing here is just how this thing all flows down, and you got this nice, really nice piano black. That is exhaust. Look, they're fake. I gotta be honest, they're fake. There is actually a little exhaust down there, but it still looks cool, right? So as you can see, this particular car has a really nice white interior. It's actually 2-tone seats. They look really nice. It really helps it pop. Now, my favorite part of this car is pretty much all the surfaces. There isn't a hard surface to touch. Everything from the doors here to the dash there, everything. It's just really nice to touch. It has very, very good tactile sensation. The screen, 8-inch screen, in America and the market we're in at the moment, it does have Apple CarPlay. For Australia, we won't get that for a while, which is a bit unfortunate, but I'm a big fan also of this digital display up here. Now, this is not on the base model, but on the top spec, you actually get a full digital display and it looks pretty cool. Let's check out the rear. I measure about 179 centimeters, and as you can see, I do have a fair bit of headroom and there is a little bit of legroom here as well. So this is not the sort of car you would put 3 big adults in the rear, but for 2, I reckon it's quite comfortable. And also, you've got 2 ISOFIX points, so 2 child seats in here, no problem. Last but not least, the boot. Now, in this car, it's not particularly big. It's just over 300 liters, so you know there's definitely some bigger boots in its class. But you know what? I think it's not that bad. You got plenty of room to put the shopping or maybe a small pram in there. Let's go for a drive. So for our market, there are going to be 2 separate powertrains, and for the first time, the hybrid system will be offered across all 3 variants. Now, the one I'm driving at the moment is powered by an all-new 2-liter petrol engine. It's got 126 kilowatts of power and 205 newton meters of torque. Now, the most important thing, as I'm going to demonstrate, is the CVT transmission has got a proper launch gear. Have a look. There's actually a proper feel to this car now. It's not that elastic CVT feel you used to get from the old car. It actually gets up and goes properly, and the reason for that is that launch gear is actually a physical gear. So it starts off in a proper gear, and then at about 35 kilometers an hour, when it needs to, it passes on to the CVT transmission. That makes a hell of a lot of difference for a car like this, because that elastic feeling is no longer there, and it completely changes the dynamics of this car. Now, of course, that's not the only thing. It's also the fact that this is based on the new TNG architecture, the Toyota new global architecture platform. That makes a lot of difference. It's 60% more structural rigidity than the car that it replaces. It also has something called yaw control, or Toyota calls it active cornering assistance or something like that. But the idea is that it will break individual wheels in a corner for better steering, and it does make quite a bit of a difference. This particular car is riding on 18-inch wheels, so it's a little bit firmer than the base model, which comes with 16s. However, it's still a pretty good ride. I'm actually quite impressed by how well composed this is. And more importantly, when you do punt it really hard around a corner, it sticks to the ground. It's kind of unlike any other Corolla I have ever driven before. It is very impressive in that regard. What is most impressive about this Corolla, in my opinion at least, is all these active safety systems you get. It's part of what Toyota calls Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. Now you get so many different features that I actually think this car puts some Lexus models to shame. So you got autonomous emergency braking, you've got active cruise control, you've got the ability for this car to maintain its lane. So they will actually turn the wheel as you're driving if you're about to leave your lane. So I'm just going to demonstrate that for a second without trying to kill myself, which will be quite exciting. So here we go. I've now turned it on. I'm just going to remove my hands off the wheel, and I'm going to hope that, there you go, you can see it. It's actually turning the wheel for me. There you go. How good is that? And awesome, because all of this technology is standard even in the absolute base model car. Now, you will get some other stuff as well. Obviously, it's got reversing camera. It doesn't get parking sensors on the base model. That is a little bit disappointing, I have to say. But it does also have vehicle, bicycle, and pedestrian detection. Now, all of that will work during the daytime, but the vehicle and pedestrian detection will work even at nighttime. So it will actually brake for you if you're about to hit someone or another car, even at night. So look, a lot of active safety technologies. Toyota has really gone all out and put everything they have in this car. And that really blows me away because it is all standard.